Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make this fancy fold card. It doesn't have a name, so I'm going to call it Tony's Fancy Fold, and I will explain that as we go along. You just close it down like that. Here in the UK this finishes up as A5 size, and it's quite easy to buy envelopes at A5. For example, I mean, I wouldn't use this one, but that's an A5. If you've got a envelope punch board, you can make your own, which is what I've done here. I've used some of the retired envelope paper that Stampin' Up used to sell. When I knew it was retiring, I bought quite a lot of it. You need a piece that's 11.5 by 11.5 inches, and on your, it's got the measurements on your envelope punch board, but I will show you, I've got another piece over there, because obviously it comes off the board, and I want to show you how I do that. Okay, so my first card, this one, I made a mistake in as much as I put the dimensionals too close to the edge of this bit here, so it doesn't go right in, whereas this one goes right the way in, and that makes it really nice and secure. And the other thing was, I had a blonde moment thinking that I had to do, because I don't have 12 inch by 12 inch DSP, it's 6 by 6, and of course that's bigger than 6 by 6. I thought if I did that, same as I did it on the front, it would at least match. And then my brain got into gear, and I thought you don't really need to do that. You can do it in one piece and one piece. So, blonde moments. So I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces you need, and I have to say this is take 2. As you know, I normally let you watch my mistakes, but I finished up babbling, and I don't mind making mistakes in you and correcting them, but making a mistake and then start babbling, that's just not on at all. Right, so you need 2 pieces of Balmy Blue Cardstock, which measure 5 3/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. By the way, I will put all the measurements in the box below. I will also put the metric measurements, and if I can work them out, I'll put the US measurements as well. Okay, so that's Balmy Blue, and the design for the front here. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this design paper can be used this way with the light at the bottom, or it can be used with the light at the top. For me, that's the waves coming closer and closer to you, where they break more and you get more white foam. And this one is where the sea just gets deeper and deeper and darker and darker. So it depends which way you look at that. Anyway, for this design, which is the front, don't take any notice of the size of this. You need 2 pieces that are 2 7/8 inches, which is 2 7/8 inches by 5 5/8, 1, 2, and you need another one that is 1 1/8 inches by 5 5/8. And for the inside, like this, you need 2 pieces, and this is my design for inside, and they should measure, one is 4 1/8 inches by 5 5/8 inches, and the other is 3 3/8 inches by 5 5/8 inches. By the way, you start off without any score lines on your 2 pieces of Balmy Blue. As well as that, you will need 4 pieces of Balmy Blue, which measure 3 inches by 3 inches approximately, and that's for the frames round the portholes. They're back and front. In fact, while I was doing that, I had another thought, but I'll tell you about that when I get there. You also need 2 pieces of acetate, and as you can see, I always put a little post-it note on mine so I don't lose it on my desk. But I do see that I've been rather clumsy there, and I've got a fingerprint on it. But do be careful about handling this. So you need 2 of these, and these should measure approximately 2 5/8 inches by 2 5/8 inches. Then you need, and again don't take notice of the sizes here, a piece of Whisper White, which is 2.5 inches by 4 inches approximately, and Balmy Blue, which is 3 inches by 4.25 inches. Now, in my first part of making this video, I'd already scored on here, so I will pretend that I'm doing it again. So what I did was, first of all, I lined this side up at 1/2 inch, and then I scored, and then I turned my cardstock round and did 1/2 inch on this side as well, and then I moved this one along to 3.5 inches, and then I turned it around again and did 3.5 inches the other side. Okay. So you should have, I don't know if you can see the score lines there, you should have 1/2 inch either end, and then one here and one here. I can't tell whether you can see that or not. I hope you can. Anyway, then you need to take these pieces, whichever way you want them to be, it's your choice, and adhere them in between, just like this. Okay, that's as far as I'd got. After I'd done that, I'd started on the second piece, and that's it. I marked on here 1/2 inch in. That is just as a guide to make life a bit easier when I'm trying to position these. Okay, so when you put this one down, you're going to have a little gap all the way round, and this one you're going to have a gap between that white, the pencil mark, and leave a gap between the two, because when your card is going to close, that will cover up that gap there. So let me do this piece, and the reason I did the front of the card first is so that it's got a chance to dry before I use my Big Shot to cut the portholes in there, otherwise the glue will be rather wet. So I'm going to put this one down first, and as you can see, my patterns don't line up, but when the card's open, that's going to be exposed, that's going to be seen through the portholes, so I'm not unduly bothered about that. So I'm going to use Tombow, now this one you won't be doing any die cutting through or anything. On the other one I said that when you're adhering it, make sure you go all over with your Tombow, so that when you cut the portholes out, it's not, the design series paper won't come adrift from the cardstock. Okay, so a little gap there. Try and get it straight. I think that's right. And now this one is going to go on here. I'm going to leave a little gap in there, and I've got to make sure that I don't come over that pencil line. Now what I'll do on this one, I will actually show you what I mean about putting glue all over. It isn't literally glue all over. It's a shame that I'd already done those other bits. I've got my ceiling fan on the go because the weather is so hot at the moment and it's drying my glue straight away. Right, this is what I mean about doing Tombow all over. Okay, it's not solid, but there's not going to be any part of the designer series paper that doesn't have glue on it. Right. There we go. Make sure that's straight. Yep. So I'm going to erase that pencil mark. That's the bit where the top half is going to be adhered onto. Okay, so that's those two bits done. What's the next bit best to do? Okay, let's do die cutting. Oh, we need to do the stamping as well. Okay, so this piece is for the sentiment. This one here, okay. Yeah, that's okay. And I have actually set my stamperators up for this. If you follow my blog, you know that I'm always using my stamperators for my stamping. And as you can see, this is how I test whether I've got things straight or not. This is a great pad. It's the, I think they just call it small. Grid paper, yeah, small grid paper. So what colour am I going to do this? Shall we have Balmy Blue, I think. Did I not get that out? Nope, I didn't. Now the advantage of using the stamperators is that I can stamp it 2 or 3 times if I want to make sure that this pale colour comes up nice and light. By the way, let me just show you the stamp set. It's called Well Done, and this is what I'm using here. It comes with the whale punch, which I will be using later on, but it's got the different sea creatures here, and some seaweed. So let me just use that. That comes in handy for that as well. There's a lot to be said for using the little ink spots when you're using your stamperators. The deal looks quite a bit lighter than the rest of it. Maybe I'm not pressing hard enough. Oh, that looks better. Okay, so I'll leave that like that and I'll clean it up later. So this is all die cutting now, isn't it? Let's put that away. I'm really, really excited for my next Stampin' Up delivery because it's going to be my new Stampin' Up cut and emboss machine. Demonstrators can order it a month early so that we have a chance to play with it and get used to it, so we're in a good position to answer any questions, and it'll be available to customers from 1st of September. Right, now this I am using our stitched rectangle framelit dies. Well, I just call them rectangle stitched because Stampin' Up are doing their own dies now, and this is numbers 4 and 5. If you've been following me for a time, you know that I number my dies. The smaller the die, smaller the number. Let me just tip that, make sure it's straight. Yep. No, what did I do with my other plate? Here it is, down by the side of me. Feels like I should be using some wax paper underneath that. When you find it's as stiff as that, if you use wax paper for a couple of times, it will make it easy to come out, and it lasts quite several uses. Obviously I use mine an awful lot. Right, so there's that one, and now this one I need a blue layer. Let's just put that on there. Now I didn't put it down there this time. There we go. Also, what will happen is if you don't use wax paper, you'll find that this will start tearing. In fact, can you see that a little bit there? That's because I'm having to pull it right out of here, but wax paper will cure that. So that's those two. Right, this is the one that I need my portholes in. And for this, I am using the layering circles. Again, in the box below, I will measure the size of the circles in case you don't have these. And these are numbers 5, 6 and 7. So the porthole is number 5. It's the smallest out of the 3. Okay, so that's that one. And if you're a bit like me, very iffy with straight lines, getting things lined up and what have you, it doesn't have to be precise, but what I tend to do is decide where I want this to go. Say that's about, what did I decide was the top? I think this will be the top. So once I've decided where it's going to go, I'd better do it from the top here, because otherwise I'm not going to be... I want to put some pencil marks, and it's highly unlikely that I'll see it in that dark blue. So if I put that there, make sure you've got the same gap here, same gap there. Looks about even. So I put that there. There's my pencil. Just do a little pencil mark there. Pencil mark there. And I've done it on this end, just in case it moves while I tip it up to make sure it's straight. That's good. Now you should find that that will go through okay once. I should have used my shim on this. But let's have a look. Yep, that's gone through okay. Alright, I'm not sure what I'll use that for. I'll hold on to it just in case. Now the other one, I know, has got to go to line up that pencil mark. And then just make sure this gap and that gap are the same, which looks okay to me. So then we'll do it again. Let me just use my shim just in case. There we go. So that's that okay. Next we need your 4 pieces like this. I've already done my 4, so this is demonstration purposes only. So now you need number 5 and number 7, and you've got to put them inside each other and make sure you've got equal gap all the way around there. Okay, so that's one of our portholes. Now if you find you've got little bits of hairy, what I call hairy bits there, just knock them off with your fingers. Okay, I'm not going to do that now, I've already done 4 over there, but I will do it before I use it. I'll save that for another project. That's rubbish. And then for this one, the middle one, which is number 6, you need your piece of acetate, which seems, no, here it is. Now, what I do with acetate, because my plates are so well used, shall we say, I tend to use a piece of computer paper, and what I do is, again, I've already done 2 pieces of this, and this is one I've got the finger mark on. Okay, so I put my acetate down and I put this on here. Okay, and then I close it so the paper will help to protect it against all these scratches or cut marks. In fact, I shouldn't have thrown that bit of post-it note away. Okay. So let's get another piece. If I put that down on my desk, I will lose it. Right, and I only put the sticky bit right towards the end. Okay, I don't want to leave sticky mark actually on the acetate. Okay, I can get 4 windows out of there. I know that because I tried it earlier. Right, I think that should be everything. So, oops, let me get my pieces over. I've got my, oops, that's got stuck on top of. Oh no. Oh well, I have to see how that goes. That's 2 windows. And these 4. And these. Okay, so let's stick these 2 together first. Bring my silicone mat back. So now that this is my second take, I can't remember whether I told you why I'm calling this Tony's Fancy Fold. I'll put a note in the box below. You certainly don't want to hear the story again if you've already heard it once. I'll also put a link below to Maria Taylor's blog as well. Okay, that looks straight. So if we take this bit, I said that way, didn't I? So first of all, one of these, try and get your glue in the centre of this circle. If you feel you've got too much on there, blot it off on a scrap of paper. You don't really want it come oozing out. Okay, so put that on. It should fit perfectly because you used the same die for the centre of this as you did for the centre of that. There's that one. Do one for the other side. Now, what I thought of since I did this one is I did think that maybe I could put those underneath this wheel, but then I thought when you look in you can actually see that they are complete. You can see that they are seahorses, so I decided that I would leave that. So to put your windows in, put a small amount of glue. I'll make it come out too quickly, wait. I'm not going to do it all the way around. If yours is coming out at a sensible speed, you can do this all the way round. But I'm scared mine's going to suddenly come pouring out at 100 miles an hour. And don't worry if it comes further out than your ring. Okay, so then just pop that on, oh no, on top. Okay. And once that's done, you can put this one on top. But do take great care that you don't get the glue on the acetate. I would be interested to know if anybody knows if you can get glue off of acetate without spoiling it, and how. I think that's right. Okay, so give that a good press. Okay, now do the other side. And again, do the glue around the outside first. As you can see, I am keeping quite well away from the edge. Except for that bit. Acetate. Oh. Oh, come on, you can't be stuck. Maybe you are. Right, okay. Okay, so that's down. Now that looks a bit overdone, so this is how I block things. This is scrap paper. Just let the worst come off on there. Okay, give that a press down. I'll just give that a few minutes to dry, and while that is happening, we can adhere this onto this bit, and by looking at this one we can see how close that is, how much DSP that I've got showing from there. So if you've got the same sort of gap, then you just need a tad showing through there. and the same gap top and bottom. If you make a mistake on this bit, go right to the edge of your DSP rather than going further in. Right, so it's this side that I need to go in 1/2 inch, and again I'm looking at my grid pad here. In fact, I'm going to turn it around that way, it's easier. Okay, so yep, it's this side I need them. And if I've got this lined up on here and that's straight, then I know 2 squares are 1/2 inch, and I've got to leave 1/2 inch exposed, and my dimensionals have got to come over there. And what I did was actually use my ruler. In fact, did I do it the other way around? Oh, that would have been easier, wouldn't it? So that's the side I need. So, straight, straight. Cover up 1/2 inch, which is there and there. And the other thing I do with my dimensionals is I take one of the pointed bits and make that face outwards, so that when the card slots in, it's only touching the pointy bit rather than the flat bit. The reason being is that the side bits, the straight bits, are still sticky, and the card that you're putting in there is less likely to stick to it if it's only got the point. I put 5 of these down here, 1 top and bottom, 1 in the middle, and then either side, all with a point going towards my ruler. Okay. Then I do 3 down there, and then 2 in the middle, and that should hold beautifully. As you can see, I didn't worry about which position I put the rest of these dimensionals in. There we go. Right, got rid of those. So now this is going on here, and I'm going to get the same gap there as I had there, and I'm going to leave a tiny, tiny tad there. Right, that looks about the same. Oops, no, that's not straight. Okay. Right, so now that's dried, we need to fold on our 4 score lines. These 2 here on the outside, the 1/2 inch, are going to be valleys, and these 2 are going to be mountains. Okay, so let's do the valleys first. And then these 2 mountains. Is that a hairy bit? Yep. I'll have to go around that afterwards to tidy up. And then this one's a mountain as well. Right, so that looks good. So we're going to put this onto here. And you can use tearing tape or Tombow. Oops. Of course, I'll put that on top of the glue that I just blotted. Right, so I'm going to put glue onto the end of my... Before you do this, just check that this is up the right way. Otherwise you'll do the same as me and make a mistake. Right, hold on. Right, I want the white at the top, so it's this one I want. Okay. Now these two pieces of cardstock are exactly the same size, so lining up should be a walk in the park. There we go. Right, so I got a little blue gap down there. And then that should slide in nicely. There we go. That's alright, isn't it? That's worked out brilliantly. Right, now I put some things here, and on this one I've got turtles. And the thing is, you can't use, or at least I don't know of a glue that you can use to adhere this to acetate so that it's not seen. So this is what I tend to do, just adhere them onto the frame around there. Yep, that'll look good. I don't know if I'll be able to get two in here. So which way did I say? Just tiny little bit right at the point. You've really got to be so careful not to get glue onto the acetate. Silly girl, you want to put it on the other side. Let's use a different one. I want a blue one, that's what it is. Okay, so it's got to be on the blue side. I'm going to put a little blob here. And a little bit there. A little bit there, and then I'm going to wipe it on that. The silicone mat is so easy to clean. Okay, so that's what the turtle looks like. Sorry, it's not a tortoise. I think they're all facing one direction, aren't they? Yeah, there should be another blue one somewhere. Oh, that was the one I put it on the wrong way. But yes, but there should still be another one because I did 3 of each. Pesky little creatures, it swam off. Okay, we'll have a green one then. Are you all going the same direction? Yes, you are. Okay, got a small one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, it might look too crowded, but I'm going to do the top 2, which means it's on the green bit. Let's bring that back so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that's 1, that's 2. That's it. That's all right. have a look, see what that looks like. There we go. Can you see that all right? I think you can, can't you? Okay, so I don't really want the two windows the same, so maybe I'll just do one on this one. I could do just a little bit, couldn't I? Yeah, let's just do a little bit. And then the other one I can do a lot. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. That's all right. They're not all going to be swimming at the same pace, are they? Right, have you dried? Yes, I think so. Right, so where do we want you? We haven't got anything up in the air. That's not helpful, is it? So, alright, I'm just going to do the tail. Let's do it from here. Oops. Oops. Fortunately I have a adhesive eraser which will get that off. No reason why I can't have him swimming downwards, is there? There we go. That's good, isn't it? I like that. Really pleased with that. Right, let me just see if I can reach for something to mop that up with. Oh, where's all my tissues gone? Oh well, I'll leave that until afterwards. That'll be alright. In fact, what I'll do is I'll let it rest on here and it won't stick. So the last thing I need to do is my whale, and what I did with that was I used the punch to get my whale, and then because he was that colour I punched out those two bits as well. I had to do it in two goes. So where's my punch? The stamp set Well Done and the punch comes as a bundle. Okay, it's easier to see. So I want that bit there and that bit for his spurt. What colour do I want? Does it matter? Like a blue really, wouldn't I? Does it really matter? Yes, it does. Alright, so what I'll have to do is cut in there. Okay, so let's see if I can do it from here. I might have to take that other whale off. Yes. In fact, let's take that one off as well, just in case. I can use those for something. I like it when stamping I'll do these things where we can do punches or dies to take out the shapes. Okay, so that fits on nicely there. Okay, that's multicoloured, so I don't want that. So what I need to do is to, here we go. Okay, so that's, no, it's not the same colour. I want the blue one. Here we go. This is a blue one, which isn't going to be fit for very much, so I'm going up there to get my two spurty bits. I don't want his eye looking at me though. Those will live for another day. There's that one. And no, not that one, is it? This is that one. And that. So where's my sentiment? So that's coming like that. Let's stick him on first. I like to have him swimming upwards. I just think it, for some reason, to me it just looks a bit happier. Right, and then that's part of the water spout. Obviously the punch fits the whale in the stamp set. There we go. That is the project. If I can just very quickly show you how I cope with the making the envelope, just in case that's something you decide you'd like to do. Because obviously the envelope punch ball, well, we don't sell it anymore, which is a shame, but I'm sure most people would have bought one. But obviously this is an interruption. So what I tend to do is, this is my 11.5 by 11.5, and you start at 4 7/8. So you punch, and then this will only come down that far. So what I do is I fold that on that line. Right, let's fold it over, it's easier. Let's see where I'm going that way. Okay. So the next one I line up with my fold then. Okay, and then score that one, which is on the scoreboard, that's okay. And then that one, which stays on the scoreboard, but this comes off. Oops. Okay, so fold it. And then line up your fold with that, and then score down there, and it stays on the board. Okay. So now on this one, I'm going to round the corner. I didn't have that. Oh, that's better. Because I didn't have that in very well. That's better. And then, if you like, what you can do is I use tear and tape down there, and you can cut that off as well if you want. So I just measure that from there to there. Put that in my trimmer, trim that a little bit off. And then I think it looks more like a professional envelope, like that. Okay. As I say, I also put the tear and tape down there as well, so when I want to send the card, I can just take the backing off. But I do seal it down there with tear and tape. I don't use Tombow on that one. Okay, so there we go. That's today's project. I hope you like it. It's such a fun fold. So thank you very much to Maria Taylor and Tony. And there's the one that I've just done. The screen's not really quite big enough, is it? No. Alright, in fact, there we go. So many thanks for joining me today. I hope you like this project and I hope you give it a try. I will be putting the measurements in the box below, as well as all the products that I've used with links that will take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. If you have any questions or comments to make, please leave those in the box below. I'm always happy to help you, and I do like to have your feedback. If you've ever seen this card before and you do know a name for it, I really would like to know. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the right hand corner, and then click on the bell to get the notifications. And during the month of August, I am giving all my customers who place an order of £30 or more, that is after having used any bonus day coupons but before the delivery has been added, I am sending a pack of 48 sheets of retired 6x6 designer series paper, and each pack will include at least 2 sheets of speciality paper, like it might be printed vellum, or it might be a sheet of glimmer paper, or the patterned acetate we had last year, but each pack will have at least 2 sheets. So if you'd like to shop with me, please click on any of the links down below and it will take you straight there, or I'll put a link to my shop below as well. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.